welcome to the Zooming Hoosk Podcast, and I am your host, Dustin DaHusky.
And I'm Kurdan Sourpuss.
So,
Hi, Dustin.
Hello. I want to start off with something that's actually kind of been annoying me this whole year. And it's nothing that anyone can help. We're going to talk about COVID. This is kind of a pandemic talk put into this episode because I'm going to be a little bit lazy. So you're getting sort of two videos in one.
Angry hiss all around at the COVID.
So anyway, let's talk about close scares and bad timing.
Yep.
This is currently, because I'm in a current COVID scare right now, which this whole week just been feeling fine.
We're talking thanks to work?
Thanks to work, and this is the...
Second or third?
This is the fifth time from work in particular. There were two other times that weren't work-related, but most of my scares have been work-related this whole year.
Right.
Two of them from the same people.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, I like to say that catching COVID, unless you're literally a dumbass and you don't actually do anything to help yourself prevent it, you should have brought a bowl for that.
I did. I'm sorry.
Because I was going to say, like, there's going to be so much cat paw sounds.
There's going to be lots of cat paw sounds.
And plastic potato chip bags.
Yes.
And what pisses me off is that every single time a scare happens, it happens only when I got something planned for a weekend that I wanted to do.
Of course. Softball.
This is softball twice.
Yep.
Today...
Thanks, COVID. Thanks a lot, you jerk.
So, COVID had prevented me from going up north on a vacation.
That's right, with your dad and your grandpa.
Just simply my grandfather, not my dad.
It was just with your grandpa?
Yep. And you know what? I had to call that off. I did not want to worry my grandfather, so I told him it was too cold, which is bullshit because that was a good weekend.
Put him at risk. You didn't
right.
Want him at risk.
So I stayed home. Of course, nothing happened. These are all people around me, not me in particular, just other people that happen to be in the area.
Right.
Although you don't normally test until you know they've tested positive. And so far, I have never had anyone around me test positive. So when no one else tests positive, you don't need to. Unless you get symptoms. The only time I've ever tested was the first time I got a scare, and this was with close proximity to other people. Well, it turned out, and this was back in May, so since May, I've had 7 COVID scares. And really, only one of them, May, being the only one that I was directly with people. And even then, it was a scare. It turned out to be someone had strep throat. So,
thank goodness for that.
Which is now we have entered a new time period where we're more thankful people are sick for other reasons than just COVID.
Yep.
So, oh, this person's got appendicitis. Oh, well, that's better than COVID. It's not a very good thing to say, but you know what? Anything is better than contracting COVID, although you're not guaranteed to get horribly sick.
Can't you die from appendicitis, though?
Yes.
If it's not, like, caught.
Well, if it bursts, it will eventually poison you, yeah. But COVID in some cases will kill you anyway. If you've got even... Now, there's even some people that I knew that just died without any pre-existing conditions. So I think it's just literally the luck of the draw, which is why it's kind of scary, but it's also a lot of bullshit because the moment that you plan something fun to do, safe with other people, while also acknowledging and pretty much CDC guidelines, you're following them to a T anyway.
Right.
And you still get T-boned by a COVID scare. This has been pissing me off this whole, at this point it'd be 6 months. This has pissed me off in the last 6 months of every scare. And for the most part, it has to do with me visiting people or going somewhere.
Yeah.
And often enough, only visiting one person or being outside with a bunch of people, which by a bunch of people, I mean 12 people. So really, not that much.
Yeah.
And being far away from so many people, that being my small vacation to Wasaki in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And I still get sideblinded by scares that I'm glad nothing came from them. But it pisses me off that I get hit with a scare and I can't do anything about it. But I know for a fact that I'm feeling fine, so if I got tested, I'd still come back negative. But I'm still within the very first week. I'm just better off staying at home, which is now I have come to a final agreement about what I'm looking at for the rest of 2020 and all of 2021, because we're not going to be done with this by the end of 2021. Let's be totally fair. I'm going to put no stock in any small social event that could happen. I am probably not going to care too much about going to any event until I know this is done.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I've been disappointed far too much now. Just by going to social events. And I'm not talking about a 30, 40 event crowd. I'm talking about less than 10 people.
Right.
Less than 5 people. And I almost never have more than one person visit.
Right.
So, besides, you live with me. For those that actually don't know, Kurdan actually lives with me. So, he's not a guest of the show. He actually lives with me.
I'm a home loaf.
He is certainly home loaf.
I'm homo loaf.
And I rarely ever have more than one person visit. And the only time that I've ever had a crowd come over was for my birthday, and that was outside. So really, following CDC guidelines for the whole year, be safe, wear mask, wash beans, whatever. And idiots around me are getting sick for other reasons, which I'm glad it's not what it is. But now it really ruins everyone else's 2 weeks because now they are worried about it. I swear, COVID is the total sanity killer as far as whatever sanity you may have left.
I was going to call it shit stain.
Well, you heard it here first. Kurdan calls it a shit stain, and we're back to toilet jokes.
A little bit. But yeah, I mean, literally, it's the shit stain on 2020.
And I doubt conventions will come back next year. I doubt. Meets shouldn't come back next year because this still will be an issue then. And 2022 is when hopefully things will be so under control that numbers would be so small that it would no longer worry people. But that's still 2 years away. So.
And the reason I call it a shit stain is because when you get that shit stain on your tidy whities that won't wash out, it's there forever, and that's what this feels like. We can't wash this thing away. It's just there.
Yeah, so I'm just pretty pissed about everything, because I could have had a friend over, which this individual also has his own COVID scare. Luckily, on his end, pretty much it turned out negative anyway, so I'm glad for him. Nothing else happened either. But I still had to tell him to stay home. I'm not going anywhere, because you know what? I know that I could, but I still will stay home anyway, because that's what you should do until you get the results, which at this point, I really don't know. And since at my work, you're not allowed to come back to work until you get a negative or positive test. Or you cannot show up to work, which actually, I think this guy is actually sick, but he's not sick of COVID. He's got sinus issues. However, he has not been tested yet, as far as we know. And he's the same guy that's getting pissed off by my boss. I'm actually, once he heard that he won't come back to work unless he gets tested, the lucky bastard, I'm sure, this is his plan. He will not come back to work. This is his way of getting out of the job, which, you know what? Fine by me, because I have my own plan to get the hell out when I can.
Yep.
Because now I'm even more convinced since the last episode that maybe I should still look for a job and just stay for as long as I need to until I do find a job and then, quit on the spot. Which now,
Don't do that. Please
well, not quit on the spot. You know what I mean.
I'm 2 weeks in.
Right. That's what I meant to say.
When you say quit on the spot, means like, bam, I'm out.
Well, you have to understand with my work situation, it's not that pleasant.
No, I understand.
Apparently, I've discovered one thing about my job. No one in my department is being paid more than $16 an hour.
You're cheap.
And this is people that have been here 38 to 40 years.
That's really cheap.
I'm more convinced I will stay at where I am in my 30s and 40s, which means there's no financial future in this place.
No.
Which I'm very well happy and more convinced that this job is not a forever job, which I'm totally glad.
I will say that a lot of jobs you're going to get the same.
You may want to put that somewhere else. Yeah, because I can see that being knocked over. Why don't you put that back up here? I already see an open wine bottle, and it's like, cat's gonna knock it over like a cat. That's
what cats do.
That's what cats do, and it's like, cat, don't knock over that bottle.
I'll do it anyway.
So yeah, pretty much. The idea is to still get the hell out of this job, even if it takes me the rest of the year. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm just more convinced getting out of this job is my best bet. So, and one of my friends asked for a resume, which might hopefully maybe, the big maybe, and not capitalized letters, but in lowercase 8 font letters in a 12 font paragraph, maybe a foot in the door for a possible interview.
Where?
Well, at this one place that I've sent out an application back in August.
You hadn't heard a response yet?
No. But there might still be positions available through the next month or so. But, and this is a good time for me to update my resume anyway, because I figured it's been a good 2 years. Wanted to at least update it for a few things. So,
Well,
there's that.
There is hope.
There is a bit of hope. I'm not going to put too much stock in it, but just in case, you know what? It can't hurt. Especially when they have a resume directly. They could show it to someone in the higher-ups and say, hey, this guy could do a thing. And like, do a thing. Oh. So, it's any chance better than none.
Yep.
So I'm just a bit angry about close calls in this modern day world, because you know what? It happens to a lot of people. And you have to wonder how many of those people that do have a close call are actually positive, that did get infected or exposed, still did what they wanted to do, infect more people. So really, I am helping by preventing the spread of this virus by not doing anything, even if I know it sucks. I know better not to.
Yep.
But I know others out there are dumb enough to do what they want to do anyway and infect others in the process. So anyway, I'm done with that.
So I think I mentioned this to you earlier today, but I'll repeat myself anyway. That I think that one of my coworkers is a furry, or is a closet fur. Like she's a fur, but she doesn't know she's a fur yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm just like silently converting her without knowing that I'm doing it, and without her knowing that I'm converting her. Because she howls a lot, there's a lot of wolf howls at work. And we did an all-cat version of Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande, Rain on Me today at work. It was just all meows.
That's strange.
She started it. I did not start this.
Yeah.
So there's that. Oh, speaking of work. I was farting all over my store today.
You're a gassy cat.
I am. What's my new nickname? You called me that earlier today.
The brown cat.
Yeah. I was brown catting it all over the place.
Oh my god. Brown, green, or gray. I don't know, but you are what you call a mobile natural gas or propane producer.
Definitely. If there is an ozone still in existence, I'm helping to deteriorate it.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that, planet Earth. I can't help it.
And people are gonna try to find you and like put a cork in you.
Yeah. They can't though. I mean, I think I shit twice today. One just before work, almost made me late for work actually. Thank God that was not a forever wipe there. And then within the last half hour of my day at work, we're putting stuff away. I'm lifting, heavy crates of potatoes, good 50, 65 pounds each crate, a pallet of like 30 of them. After the third or fourth one, I'm lifting it. I'm like, oh wait. She's like, what? My coworker. I think I have to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, no, yep, I'm going to have to go. I can't keep doing this or I'm going to have an accident. So I ran out of there, did my duty. Luckily, it was almost a zero wipe.
Oh my god.
So it went out nice and clean, glided right out. Like I was all lubed up or something.
Oh fuck.
But
okay, so speaking of bathroom breaks, I guess we're going there like we always do.
yep, this is now literally a shitstorm of a podcast.
I mean, it's the only tradition at this point. We already got inside jokes with our listeners that we are a very shitty podcast, but so recently my company got a new worker, although not really fully hired on. He's through a temp agency.
Yeah.
Which apparently this 24-year-old, which is a really nice guy, very very friendly.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit to go, but otherwise a very good worker. I can't complain too much about that. However, I do notice that he takes his bathroom breaks in the middle of crunch time.
Ooh.
Either just before our second break or after our second break, and he has to use the bathroom for like 10-15 minutes.
Ooh, 15 minutes he's in the bathroom?
One time, yeah.
Okay.
And, okay, I'm going to talk about my bathroom habits on this podcast.
Oh, God.
That's rare for me because I don't think I ever have in the past.
Okay.
I either go before or after work. Because you know what? I understand, especially when I'm doing the jobs of 4 or 5 people now. I gained new roles and I still have not gotten a single pay raise. And I talked to someone else who's been there for 38 years. His assistant manager has also never gotten a pay raise for that as a manager.
And how long?
38 years.
You never got a pay raise?
No.
That's criminal.
Yeah, that's my job. So, my day is hectic. And a lot of people don't understand that when I mean that I have a shit day, I literally, it's like a Peter Gibbons, that is the worst day of my life. I'm going to exaggerate about that, but I'm also not going to exaggerate about that because each day kind of gets a little bit worse in its own little way. And it keeps getting that way because I just really hate working where I am working now. But I know that if I spend 5-10 minutes going to the bathroom at work when I could be working, I understand why that pisses people off when you use your bathroom break not on your break time. But the problem is, yeah, you should in theory go during lunch, but when you only have 30 minutes for lunch and you go use the bathroom for 5-10 minutes, that's 5-10 minutes plus 3-5 minutes of washing your hands or whatever. I don't know about 5 minutes, but taking time because we only have one bathroom in the back warehouse plant.
Meaning one toilet?
One toilet in our section.
So that's not even a bathroom.
The women's bathroom, which there are few women working in my plant, they get a 3-stall bathroom. The men's room is a 1-stall bathroom. About 90% of the workforce is male.
Wow.
We have to share a toilet and a urinal with 90% of the workforce. And sometimes even the office people come in to use our bathroom too. It's stupid. I think we should
Are there ever lines
sometimes.
to use the bathroom?
Sometimes. Often enough, the times when I needed to really go, there was always someone in the bathroom.
Wow.
So I decided that at this point on, I'm only going to use the bathroom before or after work. Because you know what? It's ridiculous, but...
That is stupid.
So this guy likes to use the bathroom during work, and it's clockwork every day, every afternoon. Never in the morning, but always in the afternoon. So he is very regular between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m., which is fine. However, when you take 15 minutes to go use the bathroom, longer than we have breaks, that's already an issue because you're going to abuse that.
I mean, at my job, that would be considered a break. One of your 2 15-minute breaks.
And that's on top of having another 10-minute break. So he would take his break, and he would take it outside in his truck.
Did you smoke?
Yeah.
Cigarettes?
Yeah. Well, of course it's cigarettes. I guess you could smoke little cigarillos or whatever, but... So the guy takes somewhat of a bad habit in my department, not in other departments. Taking a bathroom break during the middle of the day is not good for my department because we're so crammed with work. We could literally use your 10 minutes of you being in the bathroom to do something. We're that strapped on manpower that we cannot afford to do bathroom breaks.
That's pretty bad.
Well, it's because my company's too cheap to hire people. And you know what? Oh, since we're wondering if we lost the guy, my boss has been very, very friendly with me, which I could care less about.
Yeah.
I'm only doing my job. I did a ton of overtime this past week, not to help his ass. I'm only doing it so that's less that we all have to look at in the next morning.
Right.
So I was the only one this whole week doing overtime, which, okay, all right. The one time I did overtime for one day, 2 weeks ago, was $20 more on my paycheck than usual. My boss is telling me, oh, you're paying off your car fast, huh? Oh, that's good. And like, yeah, the measly $80 plus that I'll be getting on my paycheck, which is pitiful. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. But yeah, it's... And everyone's convinced that if Tony, the guy who's sick right now, isn't going to leave, everyone in my department got bet on me that I'll be the next one to leave, which, if Tony doesn't leave, they will certainly make that bet. Because I am willing to leave this fall if I can. Whenever I can. So much so that even during, we have one person in about 2 weeks getting a surgery and one person in about a month getting a surgery in the same department. And there's going to be slight overlap. So one person's not able to do any of the jobs that they could, and the other person's also, when they come back, won't do any of the... So literally neutered our department.
Wow.
Because these are older people that need surgery because they're getting old. And they don't have enough young people, but not only that, but they don't have enough people to do the job of those people. I say fuck this shit. I wanna get out of this hellhole.
I know. But you do want to get that car paid off first.
I do. Unless if I can transition into another better paying job.
Yeah.
Yeah. It pisses me off. It pisses me off beyond belief. But that's my reality, and you know what? My reality is not being paid what I am right now in my 30s, which is only 3 years away. Before gay death and furry dadhood, apparently. Because apparently in the gay community, you become gay death at 30 years old, but in the furry community, when you're 30, you become a dad, like a full-on dad. So, you know what? Hey, that's fine by me.
You are a dad.
People, that's right. I am a cat dad.
You are a cat dad.
I have a good son, Loaf, who is very, very cute and beautiful and an asshole at the same time.
Yep.
But he's my cute little boy. Sylvester the Tuxedo Loaf.
Mm-hmm.
I love that cat, even though that he could never get affectionate with me. I still love that cat. My mom's with a love-hate relationship with him.
Yep.
But I think the cat loves her more than anyone else in that family, so.
He's just too playful.
Which I'm actually kind of appreciative with that, because it's nice to have a playful cat. It is kind of fun. Oliver was never a playful cat. He was very much a cuddle buddy. He just liked to be around people, cuddled with.
Super chill.
He would rather cuddle with you and loaf with you than do stuff. So, he was a big orange bean.
He was. He was a good bean. He wouldn't even push things off a table.
Well, until you taught him how to, and then...
Even then, it was... I had to trick him into doing it.
Aww.
He would not do it. He was just a well-behaved poos. He was. But, if you don't mind, I was talking about farting all over my store.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
And I actually did something before work, because I did kind of a PTA shower.
Tits, ass!
I didn't do the complete shower that I wanted to do. So I doused myself in dollar store cologne, which surprisingly isn't bad. It just doesn't seem to last as long as the expensive stuff does. And I spray this on my skin, like my arms, my wrist, my neck. And then I spray it on my shirt. And I spray it on my Walmart vest. And I spray it on my jeans, where, because I'm up on a ladder where someone might be able to catch a whiff. And hopefully it doesn't smell like poo. It just smells like cologne poo.
It'll still smell like ass, but at least it's cologne.
Fragrance ass. Assence.
Essence.
And then I also sprayed it. I said I sprayed it on my jeans, right?
Yeah.
I sprayed it where farts come out.
You madman.
Because I'm trying to cover my tracks, literally. Because I'll fart and then I'll move quickly away from the area.
Like a cat would.
Scared of whatever it was that came out of me. What the hell was that?
What the hell was that? Skitter, skitter, skitter. You are a true house cat. You are the You are kind of like the dog that wakes up from his own farts.
Yep. Yeah, what the hell was that? Oh. But, so yeah, I was farting all over the place. By the end of the day, I don't think that I smelled as good as I did when I left the house. Honestly, because it starts to linger after a while.
What?
The brown cloud around me.
Oh.
But I changed my clothes when I got home. Showered again. Now I don't smell like ass.
You're a strange ass
I
cat.
know. I can't help myself. There was something else I had to that too, and I can't remember what the heck I was going to say.
Let me tell you a little bit of some European trade
Ass?
secrets.
Ass covering secrets?
Sort of. So, in Europe, regardless of where you go, even furries that say that they claim that they wash every day in their home country of Germany, France, Sweden. So let's talk about countries that think are as developed as they are. However, when it comes to treated water
Yeah.
for washing, cooking, whatever, or washing, it's so expensive. It's as expensive as getting gasoline in Europe, where water there, treated water, especially in Paris, is so expensive. There's not a single person that I knew in France that, and this is all of France, and even in Paris, it's even worse. People only take a bath once a week because the water is so expensive to use.
Yeah.
So they will only use cologne throughout the rest of the week. That is what you call the European bath.
Yep.
Even before the Berlin Wall fell,
I knew
everyone
that.
on both sides were doing this. Because you know what? There's a reason why cologne is so big in Europe.
Yeah.
If cologne was so big in Europe, that means everyone's still doing that. There's a huge reason why cologne isn't huge in the United States. It's because everyone takes a shower once a day. Because our water supply is there.
Well, not everyone, let's be honest.
I don't know. A lot of people say, well, wait, you only take a shower every other day? Because I only take a shower every other day. Because you know what? Doing it twice a day dries out your skin too much. Dries out your hair too much. And
Depends on the cheap soap you use. Remember that stuff that I bought for a while? Remember the black African soap?
oh, yeah,
That was good stuff.
that was some really good stuff, yeah.
That was super quality, like high quality soap.
But as I was saying, people like to use cologne as a means to make themselves smell nice, and you know what it does. But also, yeah, there is such a thing as pits, tits, and ass. But in Europe, that's actually the norm. Because you know what? Filling up your bathtub is much like filling up your car's tank of gas in Europe.
Yep.
Which is why, and even back then, I took a shower every other day, and my French relatives were pissed off at me because I was using so much water.
How old were you?
Well, the last time I was in Europe, I was 17. So before 17 and before. And you know what? To the average American, my Uncle Tom, he showers 3 times a day. He showers 3 times a day.
Once before he goes to work, once when he comes after,
And once before
when he goes to bed.
Yeah. So his entire day besides working is showering.
Wow.
So, yeah, why it's
Is he
why
a germaphobe?
I think he just likes being clean.
That sounds like a germaphobe to me.
Could be. I don't know. I don't
No, I'm
talk to
not
him.
trying to.
Well, you can judge about him all you want because I don't know him that much. Despite him living only 20 minutes away, he's the only family relative I never really got to know. So I only know about him through my dad, my aunt, everyone else but him. But anyway, Yeah, it's why in Europe, why my French family gives me cologne every year. Because they're not used to the fact that Americans don't, or they're not used to the fact that Americans wash so often. What are you doing? Oh, okay. Cat's doing stuff. So, yeah, that's why. That's why cologne is such a big thing in Europe still after all these years. It's not that they like to smell nice. They like to smell nice. It's just, it's another way of...
Covering the scent.
Yep. Yeah, it's simple as that.
Covering up those bodily odors.
And Europeans are very clean people. So it's not to say they smell awful. It's just... Like, I've never met a messy European as far as how they lived. They were all clean, organized people. That's a stereotype. They say that about the Germans. I know too many messy Germans. But I know a lot of Germans who are very clean and organized. But that's everywhere in Europe I've been to. France, Italy, Germany, England, the Czech Republic. Everyone's pretty clean. It's just... Bathing is just an expensive thing that people only do once a week there.
So that, talking about Europe makes me think of Russia. And
Russia, they bathe with bears because the bears help wash their back.
Yeah. Talking about Russia makes me think of Tyser.
Oh, Tyser.
One of my first... Actually, yeah, my first fursuit crush.
I don't blame him. He's got a very good-looking suit.
Yeah. And the bod.
He does have a very fantastic body, and he's very, very athletic.
Yep. I was smitten with him. He used to have an AD account. I don't know if he deleted it or
I'm sure it's still out there, or if it's not, it's not.
made it public. What was it called? You remember?
Grapes and foreskin.
No, that was a video that he made. What was it called?
I'm not... You know what, if it's not on the top of my mind, I think we could probably go on from that. So you were talking about his AD account. What was on his AD account?
His AD account was a lot of interesting videos that I saved.
Okay, let's explain that.
One was one where he had his penis, like right in the camera lens.
Okay, so we know that he has a penis now. Okay.
We know he has a penis. It is uncut. He has a lot of foreskin. So much foreskin that he stored not one. Was it two?
I think it was 2 grapes.
2 grapes.
2 full-sized purple grapes.
Purple or green?
They were purple. He stored 2 fully ripened grapes in his foreskin.
Yeah.
Then when he pulled the foreskin back, they literally popped out with force. Like an RPG coming straight from his pelvis. Should we just contact Tyson and say, hey, you want to show us your RPG?
God, can we please? You know, it's because of Woody actually that I even got. Not, I don't want to say hooked up because I didn't hook up with him.
Tyser or Woody?
Tyser.
Tyser.
I mean, I met him. I met Tyser. In fact, the first con that I ever went to, I volunteered at the line queue for registration, and I got to meet him that way. He was in suit, in line. They messed up something with his registration, and he stood there for a good 20, 30 minutes.
While they were fixing it?
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad with my last name, I'm in and out in any ridge line, unless it's just a MFF, the way how they did MFF registration, not what they're doing it now, because what they're doing it now is kind of disorganized mess. Now it's called LineCon, but
I like it. They did a good job.
they did an okay job at the
Considering
size.
the magnitude of people that come through that place,
Yeah.
they do good.
Do you remember the old way that MFF did their registration line?
Yes.
They did it by last name.
Yes.
So I was the only one in my line because apparently these letters are like the least common in the furry fandom. And I was able to go in my line and then get out within like because I always pre-regged for a con. There was only one time in 10 years that I thought I pre-regged, actually didn't register at all, wasn't pre-reg, and then realized, oh, wait, I never pre-regged at all? So then I had to go into the registration line, and that was a pain in the ass. And then that's when I became a bit more anal about making sure I always pre-reg for cons. That may have been 2015 MFF. Because I remember that there was a time when I was in line for pre-reg, then realized, oh, your name's not on here. Like, oh, crap, I didn't even realize that. So.
You know, it actually follows me back on Twitter. I didn't realize that.
The Tyser likes you.
Yeah.
He wants to show you his RPG.
I would like to see it.
You should show your RPG to him. But also, too, remember a time, do we want to talk about this?
Yes.
Remember the time when he was at a dance competition?
Oh, yeah. Please do. Please
okay, so for the longest...
Please, let's talk about this.
So, there was a time when Tyser was adamant that his suit was not a mersuit.
Yes.
But Tyser is an incredibly well-built machine.
Yes, he is.
He is athletic. He is nimble on his beans. And he can do backflips with ease.
Yeah.
Well, once during a song, he did a backflip, and it ripped the hidden zipper in his crotch, and he kept dancing.
Yeah.
But at that point, that's when we all knew, we figured that he was at least a mersuiter. Like it's actually a short note about mersuiters. They're much more common than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny when people come to me about if I'm actually a mersuiter. And for the record,
Oh, God.
I am not. Because for hundreds of people, I have showed the crotch area of my suit. And they're like, oh, shit, you were actually telling the truth. Because I'm not a mersuiter. But so many people have always thought I was. So yeah, it is... gonna say this. Mersuiters are much more common than you think. And really, if you're a mersuiter, it's not a big deal. But Tyser wanted to keep the aura of innocence for his suit. But people did see videos of him doing stuff in suit before, and he was trying to downplay it, which, well, you shouldn't. But it created the mystique that if he was really a mersuiter or not until that dance competition.
Yep.
And the moment that he did a backflip, he ripped the seam right alongside his ass.
It was like this. It was like a...
It was a total butthole scene.
It was a butthole seam.
And you know what? Nice.
Yep. Nice.
Very nice.
Nice. And it was black. He was wearing Under Armour underneath it. So you just saw the black Under Armour exposed. You didn't see actual butt.
Oh, yeah. But,
Which, for me, that's even more of a turn on. Because compression gear, and I melt like butter.
Certainly a glorious thing.
Yes. Oh, Russian Hammer.
The Russian Hammer.
Wasn't it Russian Hammer?
This is long before I got my AD account, which, yes, it exists. Follow if you only dare. That's all I'm going to say.
What is your AD account, by the way? If they're going to follow you.
I'm going to let them look for it.
You've said it before, though.
Not on the show.
I thought you did.
Never did.
It's Husky something.
It is Husky something.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm not going to say it either. I'm going to have people look for it if they really, really want to find me. Is that him?
No.
I was going to say, he's got... What on earth is wrong with... Seriously, though, that's incredible and... Muscles, man. Just muscles. So what else do you want to talk about besides...
Grapes.
Grapes and foreskin.
Drinking.
Sure, we could do something about drinking.
Speaking of, did you finish it?
Yep, that's the rest of it in my glass. Is the vermouth that we bought 3 months ago or so.
It was more like 2 months ago.
Yeah, about 2 months.
Wine drinking.
What's that?
Wine drinking. You said, what do you want to talk about? I said, wine drinking.
Wine drinking?
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about wine. I didn't know I said wine specifically. I just said let's talk about drinking. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm picking it more specific subject. Wine.
I do like wine. I enjoy it.
So do I.
Red Riesling is my favorite. Of course, Uncle Kage got me onto that, and I do like my Mosel River Valley Riesling, which he is correct. It is the best Riesling there is. I do like my, it's White Zinfandel, right?
Yep.
That's another good one.
Yep. It's a California wine.
And, which is what that is, yeah.
Yeah. White
wines, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to them. I don't know, I really kind of don't.
Now, white wine, what is that made from then? Is it made from green grapes?
I don't really know. I've never made wine. I know wine is grapes. What type of grapes, I don't know. And really depends on location-wise in the world, where you have your vineyard grow,
Right.
the type of grape you're growing, and really about fermentation and process and whatnot is all that can make a specific type of wine. Alcohol is a very interesting. It's just alcohol is very interesting as far as a drink is concerned, because so much can be made from anything. You can make moonshine out of potatoes, just fermented potatoes, which I'm sure has got to be awful. But you can make some really potent moonshine out of really a lot of things, really.
Because of my work, my experience with potatoes and them going bad, I don't ever want to drink moonshine again. Because potatoes, when they go really bad, like they turn into mashed potatoes that you do not want to eat. I mean, they smell like ass. They smell worse than cat's ass. They smell worse than brown cat's ass.
And there we have it, folks.
We've come full circle.
We're talking about ass.
And no, potatoes, no.
Die, potato. No!
Like, I just go over to the potato section. I start taking a whiff to find where the bad ones are. I can find them.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
That's how I track them down. I smell. And then when I'm putting bags up, new bags,
Mm-hmm.
and they're sopping wet.
Oof.
I'm like, I'm not going to put this out. Who's going to buy this? Who wants a sack of wet potatoes
Ooh.
that'll go bad within a day?
Yeah. Never really a good thing.
This is our shitty distribution center sending us wet potatoes. Thanks, guys. Have some wet potatoes. I gotta message him and see if he did get rid of it or not.
Yeah. Rotten food is just never really a good smell.
No, it sure
At
isn't.
all. Just rotten anything is just not good. You know what's a worse smell? I'm sure you may have seen this, but me working as a janitor for the West Dallas, West Milwaukee School District, every Friday, the McKinley building, not far from the WAWM admin building on 70th Street in West Dallas, not far is the McKinley building, which I helped renovate and brought back into the sphere of WAWM. They just acquired the building and we renovated it. So that was interesting and cool at the same time.
Yep.
Dropped an oven about 2 stories there, but it survived somehow. But we were junking it anyway. And it was more like it was not a summer, I guess it was like a summer school sort of deal, but for younger kids. They also had a lot of milk. Well, nowadays kids don't drink so much milk anymore, and they had so much milk left over.
Right. Yeah. Was this during pandemic time or before?
This was 2015.
Oh, okay. Well, before.
2014 or 2015, so you're still talking about 5-6 years. And what they like to do is they like to dump the milk cartons full of milk, and this is the old classic paper carton
Yep.
milk cartons that they dump directly into these typical street side trash cans. And you know what? They never bothered to dump the milk out of each one of them, which of course would have taken time, but would have been a more safer thing to do.
Sure.
Well, it was a holiday weekend. I think it was the 4th of July, and they didn't pick up that Friday.
Ugh.
And in the summer heat, literally cooked the milk inside these cartons, exploded. Then on Monday, I was told to collect the garbage cans. We all didn't know they were picked up, so I was tasked to do something that was the most vile, disgusting thing I've ever done. When I opened up the lids of these trash cans,
Yep.
I was literally dry heaving because of the smell.
Yep.
And I dry heaved again when I actually looked in and I saw everything was moving. Fly maggots.
Oh, God.
Fly maggots as far as the eye can see in this barrel. Literally, the barrel was breathing. Within the span of 3 days...
How many do you think were in there?
Oh, millions. Millions. There was so many maggots.
So flies went in there, laid eggs. They hatched.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
3 days, and for some reason, 3 days was long enough for all this to happen.
Wow.
And I was tasked to throw it all away. By hand. With the milk, with the partially bloated cartons, ones that have exploded because of the pressure.
Yep.
And literally maggots. Oh my God, maggots were literally everywhere. I wasn't certain what was milk and what was maggots. And it smelled so bad at the same time, I had to go find... I don't know exactly what I used as a respirator. I had to improvise with a towel that I knew was clean, dunked it with water, and then wrapped it around my face, kind of like what you'd use for a mask now.
Yeah.
tied it behind my head, and then that was enough to actually mask the smell
Wow.
and me breathing in this disgusting, wretched thing.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing I've ever smelled.
Yeah.
And immediately, instantaneous, I didn't even know what was happening until I opened up. When I opened up the lids,
Yep.
I didn't even look inside yet. It immediately made me hurl.
Yeah.
Then the second time that I actually looked inside, the sight of maggots, millions of them, made me hurl again because maggots.
Yeah.
And the smell. It was the most... Ugh. I had to ask for a... something you use to pick up trash, which actually comes in real handy.
Yeah.
Which I may end up buying so that I can pick stuff in the ditch, not have to touch it, like cigarette butts and whatnot. I may want to do that someday. Just to pick up trash. It's those. I had to use.
Yeah.
I had to use that to pick up everything out, one carton at a time.
So you don't have to actually touch it with your hand.
Then I had to dump the milk into a sewer grate because it was too heavy to do it into the dumpster, which would have made an even more mess. Yeah. It was probably better to dump it in the sewer grate because you know what? It would go somewhere. It was disgusting to see how much mounds of maggots were left in the back alley. Oh my God. The sounds of thousands of maggots you're stepping on is not a sound I want to hear again. They made it. When you step on thousands of maggots under your feet, it makes a distinct sound.
What sound? What?
Just popping sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Like a popping, gritty...
I thought you meant like screams.
Oh, no, they don't scream. Think of
Popping. I get it.
Either think of peas...
Because it's basically a fly wrapped in like a cocoon.
I don't know. I don't care.
Kind of.
Think of green peas, and you step on them, or
that kind
corn.
Of popping sound.
They make a sound. And it's, yeah, that day I have never been so disturbed.
Why did you have to step on them?
Oh, they were everywhere, and I had to walk across it.
Oh, God.
And then I realized my mistake of, oh, fuck, I boxed myself in with this. Shit, and I still got to step over it. There was no square inch in this whole alley that wasn't full of maggots. So I was forced to walk in the maggots. Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I didn't eat lunch that day. This is before lunch.
You're making me not want to eat anymore. Because we have to deal every day with... I have stuff I have to donate. And beyond donations, like all those bad potatoes that I said I mentioned, we have to dump essentially what will be compost for farmers and people that buy our compost. Each store sells compost. Each store sells entire pallets of compressed plastic. The money-making business at every end, from one end to the other. It goes well beyond selling all the crap products that we sell at high prices, paying their employees shit wages so their profits are high. But
that's just capitalism on its own.
We sell the products that we donate to a donation center. They buy it from us at a really low price. Mm-hmm. We zero the cost of it out for us. Then they buy it from us for, I don't know, like $20 a pallet or something. And then they take that and they donate it to whatever. But every single day, I have to empty out 12, what do you call it, like a vat. It's like 12 inches deep of compost, of bad product that we basically, it's so bad you don't want to donate it to anybody because nobody wants rotten potatoes. Nobody wants moldy strawberries. Nobody wants grapes that have been stepped on, lettuce that's turned brown and it's kind of mushy. And I sure as hell wouldn't buy it myself. But yeah, daily we have to dump this out into 2 different dumpsters that get picked up by somebody who buys our compost. And we have to do it daily. And we get to dodge bees during the summer, even though they put a bee trap out there. But we had bees.
Doesn't seem like it works very well.
It doesn't work completely well, but we have to dodge bees. But I still love the job. Honestly, I still like the job because I make the most of it.
Well, that's with any job. You have to find enjoyment out of it. And sometimes your dream job may turn into a nightmare.
Right.
And sometimes the worst jobs, or maybe a job that you can take or leave,
Right.
may be the ones that you want to stay at the longest. Because you know what?
Well,
Yeah, you could make a private business of what you enjoy, but what you enjoy becomes a business. Soon enough, you're going to hate what you do. Something that you used to enjoy is now seen as a business. You will see things differently.
Well, it all depends on how you take your approach. My thing is this. I mean, I'm in the best shape that I've been in the last 10, 15 years of my life because of this job.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost weight. I'm eating better. I have more energy. Even COVID aside, because I mask up and I do all the things I'm supposed to do to stay healthy. I'm not on the floor a lot. I'm not on the sales floor much. I'm really more of a behind-the-scenes person in the regards of retail. I may be out there for probably an hour or two while we're open, and we're on the floor most of the morning until we open, at least till 7 o'clock. Because there's nobody in the store at that point. We're just working our pallets, getting everything, all the shrink wrap uncut, which I showed you the video of me wrapping our empty
Boxes.
that all the veggies come in that we break down and stack up and wrap and send back. Which you said you guys wrap it differently.
Well, we do the exact opposite of what you're doing. You stand still while the skid's on a carousel.
And we don't get a carousel, so I have to go around the pallet.
And frankly, this is the easiest thing I've ever had to do with wrapping skids, is when the skid rotates for you, and the wrapper and the wrapping roll the stationary, which is really a nice thing. So
Yeah. But like I said, I enjoy the job. I don't love Walmart. In fact, in all regards, I hate them because of the way they treat their employees, the way they let go people that have been there for a while, the downsizing they just did recently. What did I say they're saving? 100? No. Like 300 something
they're... Oh, no, not billion. They were saving...
Million. It was like $1 million.
Like $285 million a year. Actually, just period. By getting rid of so many ex-people that made $60,000 a year.
Essentially losing...
Which is quarter of $1 billion.
Right. One assistant manager per store is being let go.
Which I don't know the full operating cost or the the total amount that Walmart makes in a year. I don't know how much that actually is, but I'm sure it's in the billions.
More than that.
I like to think that that number is a sneezing number that Walmart could sneeze in a moment and still not care so much about. But apparently they must be doing pretty rough or they're expecting something, or they're downsizing. Didn't you say Microsoft is going to be buying out
No, they've teamed up with
Microsoft, and they're
Microsoft.
probably trying to like pay.
that was the number.
Yeah, so that's like $285 million saved from that. And you know what? Dragor said this once before during a deep shit episode with Xander the Blue.
Yeah.
No job is guaranteed.
No.
Union or non-union, your job is not guaranteed. And the only way your job is guaranteed is if you're making less. And even still, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be kept. In an auto factory, there used to be about 60,000 workers in one factory alone, making cars. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 3 shifts. So that's 20,000 people on a shift.
Wow.
The average car factory employs only 1,500 people on all 3 shifts. And that's a union job. A union can try to guarantee to save your... I don't want to shit on unions. I would wish I was in a union job, but I'm not. However, unless you're in Teamsters, which is probably the best group for unions you could ever be in, then whatever union organization you're part of is not as strong as Teamsters. You're still kind of in trouble because eventually they're going to get browbeaten in time by the parent company, which sucks. But with my automotive factory example, it shows that even the best unions aren't enough to save everyone's job.
Yeah.
And even if you're non-union, you're let go regardless.
Yep.
And even the unions, especially with the auto workers union from last fall, when they were trying to save 6 GM plants from closing, I think they were only able to save 2 or 3 of them, or 4, but they still could not save 2 plants worth of jobs by the end of the year. So they were able to negotiate who gets to still work, and at the end of the day, some people are still going to be told you may not have any work by the end of the year, which means they're literally told to do what they need to do to survive outside of that. So I don't know. It's kind of sad that workers are being shit on like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't want to become like, Vladimir Lenin as far as have you seen the meme image of Vladimir Lenin with like laser red eyes?
Yes.
And seeing the Wikipedia page of this list of revolutions is incomplete. Help add to it. And then there's a picture of Lenin with glowing red eyes.
Yep.
No, you can help expand it. It's like, it's funny. But you know what? You have to wonder, the context of people being pissed off to revolt against a government, an economic system, not wanting to go too much into politics, but just going into it into a historical aspect. Because you know what? History nerd. People are pissed because they felt that they were throwaway, like we are right now. This country is due for a social economic revolution, just because of the way how this country treats its workers.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, maybe white-collar workers get shit on the most, but to be honest, if you're a white-collar worker, you actually got it made.
Yep.
Even if you're being paid the same amount as I am, you're not doing the hard work that I do every day. You're not schlepping 50, 80-pound boxes every hour. You're sitting in a cubicle looking at a computer screen. Yeah, someone gets to browbeat you when you're not doing your job, but you get to sit on your ass for 8 hours a day. Actually 9, because you get an hour lunch. Me, I torture my body with my current job. I'm being very run down by this job, and yet I still get yelled at for not doing enough.
Yeah.
And I do the jobs of 4 or 5 people at this point now. I've just gained a few more job roles that I don't care to do, and they just gave it to me this past week. And I still don't care. And I'm still not getting a cent more out of it. So, no job is truly guaranteed. And this country needs to change that.
Yeah, they definitely do. Things can't stay the way they are.
You know, Walmart can be a good job if they pay people all right.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you're not going to be making 50 grand a year being a product hustler. However, if you can make $30,000 to $37,000 a year just to put product away and do it well, and then contributing to a company's profits, that's still possible. It's just it all depends on what the company is going to do. And most companies aren't willing to do that because you know what? They have pockets to line. And not just internal company pockets, stock shareholders. They need profits too from that. And you know what? It's still kind of stupid. You know, I don't know much about stock market politics and economics, but you know what? The system's totally rigged against the worker. And it won't change until we get heads to roll. Only until then can things change in this country.
Yep.
Now I'm sounding like my dad. But it is true. Until we get heads to roll, everyone's too complacent with where they are. And they're going to say, well, this job sucks, but you know what? Hey, it could be worse. I don't know. Being paid $10 and $11 to work at Walmart doesn't seem so good when you got to work hard. You do good work for the company, but the company doesn't acknowledge you at all. What does that tell you about the company you work for? My own company doesn't give a shit about me.
Yep.
And unfortunately, most companies see you as just a company number. Union or non-union, you're there for a reason. All it is you got to find a job that's going to make you happy. You have to keep looking for that because you know what? I've been working in the workforce for about 10, 11 years at this point, since 2009.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been through my fair share of good and terrible jobs. It just really depends on circumstance. You don't like a job? Someone told me, if you don't like a job, then go look for something else. You know what? That's as simple as it needs to be. You don't like where you work, go find another job, because the longer you work there, the longer it's going to erode your thoughts about the job, which is what it's doing to me right now. The longer I stay at my current job is going to further erode my sanity, and it's already at its lowest point right now. You can say you can enjoy a job for its qualities. And if you're being paid more than what you were before, maybe that's a good thing for now. But after a while, you realize you're looking for more. Do we really need more millionaires? Kurdan, do we really need more billionaires on this planet?
No, we do not.
Jeff Bezos, which I do like shopping through Amazon because you know what? It's hard enough to avoid evil entities because you know what? For how bad they treat their employees or certain things that you can't get elsewhere, it's hard enough to boycott stuff when they literally own the whole internet market. Because they do. I don't like ordering from Amazon, but sometimes it's the best way to find the best deals. And it often enough is through people that are selling through Amazon anyway. I like eBay better. But, you know, it's a total shit show of economics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need more millionaires and billionaires, and we can end off on that subject for that.
Yeah, I think we can probably end it. I'm getting to be
Tipsy, tired loaf?
tipsy, tired, love.
All right. Yeah, we've been going on an hour 15 minutes, and it's gonna probably get slightly shortened by a few minutes. And anyway, gonna do some editing magic to it. Yeah. So, anyway, thought you enjoy another episode. This is the Zooming Hoosk Podcast, and once again, I'm your host, Dustin DaHusky.
I'm Kurdan Sourpuss.
And hope you enjoyed our episode tonight. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Bye.